So let's do it then. Let's do it. 4 most disturbing Reddit threads.
On December 10, 2024, Reddit user Super
Chilling Scares. Also, I'm live on Twitch at JustAkai. That's all I'm gonna say. Like the video, subscribe to me. You feel me? Type shit. We just hit 100 subscribers. Just for the people watching. If you tuned in, clicking this video out of nowhere, we just hit 100 subscribers. Big thank you. Big thank you to you all.
Disturbing discovery they made on the RBI2 subreddit. The post read, "Terrifying film found at a thrift store. Found this film photo at my thrift store inside an old Kodak carousel box." Alongside this, they posted a picture of the eerie film strip they found. Now, I'm gonna have to blur the image as it's a bit too graphic, but
it ain't no PC, is it?
But it basically shows what looks like an undressed human body lying on the floor between a bed and a wall. The floor is also covered in blood, heavy splatters staining
God damn. But this motherfucking banana big as shit.
Both the bed and the walls. It looks like a picture someone took right after committing an absolutely horrific crime. Most importantly, it looks disturbingly real, far too authentic to be dismissed as part of a horror-themed art project. About 30 minutes later, the OP came back with an update describing their actions after finding the film, which only made it seem even more legit, reading, "Hello everyone, sorry I'm on my phone, so I'm leaving an update as a comment. Here's what I did. When I saw the photo, I was curious and pointed into a contrast area to look at it, and my body jolted because I was shocked. I didn't buy the Kodak carousel and just took the photo and went outside. I went to another store next door and called the non-emergency line describing what
311? I've never, ever in my life heard of 311. It's always been 911. Even if you have a frog in your house. Oh my gosh, officer, there's a frog. 911. Unless you want to be ballsy enough and smack that nigga with a book. I'm not picking a frog up. Bro, niggas used to pick up frogs, come back next week, fat ass warts on their hands. Toads at the Pop Warner. Bro, the toads at Pop Warner Stadiums. The football fields, bro. Niggas would go around picking them toads up. Fat ass warts in their fingers right here and shit. Yeah, nah. You want to pick up a frog, have fun.
I saw it, and then I felt like it was a genuine photo.
That shit nasty.
They told me they're sending an officer when available. She said she didn't have an ETA. The dispatch person told me if I can wait at the thrift store, and I said yes. I'm waiting in my car as of now. About an hour after that, the OP posted
but I've never heard of 311.
This time describing their interaction with the police, stating, "The officer arrived a bit after I posted the update. Him and I looked at the photo, and basically he was just looking thoroughly and asked me where I found it, and I just described where I found it. Then him and I walked to the thrift store and showed him the exact box I found it in. He sent a photo of the film to a coworker and spoke to him on it. He then took down my information and told me that he's going to take it to the people who can properly process the image to investigate it. I basically told him how I just thought the carousel was cool, so I opened it to see the condition, and I saw the photo and thought someone left a family photo, so I checked, and it was definitely not a family photo. I also gave him the time I found it, which was a minute before I took the photo. He then said if there's any more questions or things, he'll reach out to me, but he says it's unlikely since I just found the photo and don't know much about it. He then said thanks, that's all he needed, and then took the box and photo, and then began to walk to the thrift store worker to ask questions."
Is this the police or is this the non-emergency line? If this is the non-emergency line, what?
But I left.
I think it's the police.
That's all I have so far, and if I'm being honest, I don't know if I'll get any
it has to be.
from them.
What is the non-emergency
it's hard to go
line?
off of
They
a
just
film
talk to
photo,
you through
and
your
since
situation?
I just stumbled upon it from chance,
what do
I
they
have
do?
no other information other than what I said.
What are you
Now,
talking about?
usually when something like this is posted on the internet, there's a lot of skepticism surrounding its origin. The first thought most people have is that whoever made the post faked either the whole thing or parts of it for online attention. But in this
look at this dude. Dumb, bro. That shit's nasty. Yo, fellas. It's not gay to take care of your fingers. It's not gay to have good hygiene, bro. Take care of y'all's nails, dude. That shit, yo, look at his fucking finger. That shit is disgusting.
The post faked either the whole thing or...
Yo, hey, bro. Yo.
Or parts of it
Better
for
hygiene,
attention.
better hygiene.
But in this particular instance, the vast majority of people were convinced that the OP was telling the truth, simply because the picture looked a bit too real. They urged the OP to post more information about where and how they found the film, which they complied with by posting pictures of the box the film was in. One person asked for more details. Was that the only image in the carousel? Yes, it's the only image, but it wasn't in the carousel, it was in the middle of the carousel. An hour later, Super Heatran also posted a clear picture of the film by using their Apple Watch as a bright backlight. This only confirmed everyone's suspicion that the picture exposed onto the film was indeed real, with one user writing, "This doesn't seem fake. If it is, it's really well done." They further added, "I feel like if it was fake, it would be either more or less gruesome. But there's something about the positioning of the body, the fact that it isn't a more attractive body type, read thin and beautiful for better optics, and the natural pattern of blood on the wall that indicates the victim fought and didn't die immediately. Visible hand/finger marks on the wall in addition to smudges and splatter. Just doesn't seem like it was some type of dark art project. Obviously, I can't say for sure, but I watch a ton of true crime and fiction crime shows. The difference in brutality and realism of the crime scene photos are easy to distinguish. But if this film strip was real, what was its origin? The carousel containing this film appeared to be from the mid-1980s.
Right.
In another thread, the OP also mentioned that the film was sticky, stating, "I didn't smell it, but yes, it was sticky. As in, it would stay on my index finger after pressing on it."
These serial killers, bro, they got these fetishes. And these fetishes must be met. So when he has his urges and he decides to splooge all over his gooning murder, you're gonna pick up this picture? After you just bought a carousel, you didn't think to go home and put gloves on? Bro, if you buy something from a thrift store, like clothes, what do? You wash it. You buy a toy. What do? You go home, you clean it, you disinfect it. You buy a carousel with a photo in it. Bro, use some type of protection, my nigga. Use something. Motherfuckers is putting fentanyl on shit. You touch that shit, you could. Bro, you just gotta be careful with shit. Thrift stores don't be doing none of that
This
cleaning shit.
hinted at the old
These
age
niggas
of the
lazy.
film, as they tend to become sticky when left in a room
This
temperature.
nigga, nah, that ain't no room temperature sticky. That's splooge. That's
Box
splooge,
for
my
over
boy.
a decade. So the possibility of it being from the
Niggas is
1980s and early
splooging. That ain't no
1990s
fucking.
is certainly
That
high.
ain't no room
As for
temperature
the
sticky.
disturbing contents of the film, there are countless possible explanations, each just as plausible as the next. Some users suggest that maybe it was a trophy photo taken by a serial killer, which begs the question, how could such a thing end up at a thrift store of all places? One user tried to explain this with a personal anecdote, writing, "My mother lives in a seniors community in California and there's a Savers just around the corner. When the old people die, a lot of the time their kids pick up what they cherish and dump all the rest of their parents' stuff at the Savers. Could be the person who donated this didn't know what was on it." That said, a more reasonable theory I came across stated that the film likely belonged to a criminology teacher, reading, "I think a likely possibility is that the carousel belonged to someone who taught classes relating to crime scenes. The photo was accidentally left in the box because it had come away from its slide frame. Only suggesting this because I once found something similar from a house clearance and I knew the person taught some criminology classes." Another distinct possibility is that the carousel originally belonged to law enforcement. This film could have been evidence relating to an already solved case, and someone simply failed to make sure the carousel was empty before donating it to a thrift store. Whatever the case may be, it's unlikely we'll learn the truth anytime soon. It's been months since the original post, and the OP hasn't made it.
Do y'all ever, like, when you walk past somebody, can y'all see their life? What the fuck is that? Best cheap viewers? Yeah. But like I was saying, do y'all ever think when you walk past somebody, can you see their life? Like, can you see out of their field of view, like their POV? It's like you switch screens. Bro, sometimes I'll be like driving, I'll be like, yo, and I can see what they're doing. I sound crazy than a motherfucker right now. It's like sometimes I can just picture what it looks like out of somebody else's POV, if that makes sense. Like, let's say me and you are sitting down together. You're across the room. I'm right here. I can see what you're looking at. What's up, Phil?
Any updates? It's possible they'll get a call from the police at some point with an update, but at least until then, the film strip depicting what appears to be a horrific crime remains an unsolved mystery. On September 3rd, 2024, a Reddit user shared
Fella.
the unsettling sight they came across on a hike in Austin, Texas, reading, "Stone crosses in South Austin. Anyone know what's up? Went hiking with my sister and dog today at the Westgate and Stastny area, and we kept seeing piles of rocks made into crosses. We stopped counting at 11. Does anyone know what these are? One of them had animal bones mixed into it. Weird voodoo or just memorials?" Alongside this, they also shared several images of the many stone crosses they described in their post. The OP also provided some more context in later comments, stating, "We didn't see anyone around, but there was a ton of trash back in the woods. It was creepy though, with cross after cross. Felt off. Definitely going to find new paths to walk the dog because I don't want to meet their architect." Usually, discoveries like these will lead to some interesting but predictable answers. For all we know, these could have been part of a ritual site of sorts from centuries ago, or something along those lines. However, that wasn't the case here, as some of these crimes...
I don't understand people. If you see some crazy nut shit, bro, you're going to continue to walk that path? What is wrong with you? What
This
are
has
you
contained
talking about?
modern
You
material.
found more than 11, and you're still continuing to walk the path. Okay.
like
Whatever
concrete
happens,
and painted
whatever
metal
happens,
fence
you deserve
posts. In other words, these were put together a lot more recently, which
Whatever
begged the
happens, you deserve
question,
it.
who made these and why? To this, one user gave a very urgent and concerning response. "Call APD/311 and tell them you think Rami Zoeda is back in the neighborhood. He escaped custody from a mental institution in June. I don't know whether he is still wanted. Good luck getting APD to do something. Google him and talk to your neighbors." Put simply, these crosses were the work of an unstable homeless man named Rami Zoeda.
I'm not entering your camp.
In the last few years, South Austin residents say they have spotted Rami Zoeda building sculptures, taking a sledgehammer to city property, screaming at all hours of the night, and cutting down trees in the greenbelt using a chainsaw and machete.
From what I could find online,
That nigga's
Rami was
crazy.
originally from New
That
York and
nigga's
struggles with
crazy.
severe mental health issues and violent
Oh my
tendencies.
gosh.
As one local resident described her account with him, stating, "He's very profane. He's beginning to target me and my little dog, talking about murder, calling me obscene names." Reports
Run!
of Rami disturbing locals go back years. Like this similar Reddit post from another Austin resident from December of 2023, reading, "These weird rock cross formation..."
Women. Let me talk to the ladies real quick. When you see some freaky shit like that, bro, I'm sorry to tell you. I'm sorry, puppers. I'm sorry. If I was a lady in that situation, and I have a dog, 9 times out of 10, a dog is going to run faster than you, right? Well, for women, not us men. Dog ain't gonna run faster than us. Bro, let go of that leash and run. Take off. I'm sorry, pup. He's not coming for you. The crazy man's not coming to kill you. He's coming to kill me. If he's gonna say I'm gonna kill you and that dog, yo, pupper, run. I run this way. You run that way. If he follows me, you might survive. You know where the home is. You can sniff your trail back to the house. Tell the cops. Lead them to me. I died. He dragged my body in the woods, and now he's doing some freaky shit with me. Put me in a cross. Yo, run. Everybody for themselves. It's
appeared
nighttime.
seemingly overnight in the little green space between Westgate and Menchaca.
It's nighttime. You're
Anyone
not finna
have
get
any
me,
idea
bro.
what they may be for? While looking through the wooded area surrounding these strange sightings, I even found what looked like Rami's base of operations. A quick search on the guy also shows that Rami's been doing this for quite a while. He'd been arrested 6 times in less than a year. However, all of the charges were either dropped or dismissed. He was also ordered to undergo temporary inpatient mental health services back in April of 2024. But he managed to escape from the hospital within a few weeks of his detainment to continue his work. The same work that was later described by the OP in early September. As their post picked up steam, more and more locals joined the conversation to share what they knew about Rami as well. As it turns out, Rami wasn't just a misunderstood artist who should have been left alone. He was highly unstable and posed a great threat to the people in that neighborhood. I live on Westgate near Stastny, about 1 block from where the crosses are. I just recently found a smart key outside of my home, a verified lockpicking tool in the back patio area, and am truly concerned he tried to break in but gave up very recently.
Ooh,
Last year around this time, he would specifically target my home and steal water from my downstairs faucet, carrying large gallon containers of the stolen water on his bicycle. I filed a 311 report and have reached out to the APD district representative.
What is 311? Didn't you just say that's the non-emergency line? He's trying to break in your house. He's stealing water from your faucets. You found the evidence of him trying to get in there. Let me get a vine boom. What do we mean by that? You're a fucking idiot. Bro, people who see some shit like this and you report it to a non-emergency line, you don't take it as a big deal. Oh, I'm gonna tell my father. Oh, you should just barricade the doors. Call the cops. They're there for a reason. Call the cops. You might not fuck with the cops, but they gonna come in handy when you need them. They will surely come in
And left a
handy when you need
message,
them.
but 311 told me I should keep calling. They have 14 days to respond to my concerns.
Nigga calling
Super
311.
great feeling.
I don't know what
I'm
that shit
feeling
is.
very, very uneasy and scared. I believe I saw him once.
They have. Did that say they have four? But 311 told me I should keep calling. They have 14 days to respond to my concerns. 14 days to respond to your concerns about a man trying to break in your house. Okay. It's like, at this point, how about we use our big boy brain, big girl brain, whatever you are, big boy, big girl, and call the cops. What are you doing? Call the cops.
I'm feeling
It's like,
very,
bro,
very
the shit
uneasy
that
and
happens to these
scared.
people, I think they
I
deserve
believe
it.
I saw him once.
They deserve this.
What happened is that I saw a man outside my apartment building casually stroll by, bash someone's windshield in with a sledgehammer, and casually continued strolling. Zoeda had a sledgehammer he used to break decorative white boulders that were on the side of the street. It appears he has now made crosses onto the broken rocks. He also had a chainsaw and cut down numerous trees. He said the devil was in the tree. He did this day and night for months on end. Not only did he destroy property, he threatened to murder people out for walks. Oh, and people said he has sawed stray cats in half.
I'm telling you, bro. He's chasing you. He's chasing
Now,
you.
from what I could find, he's never been charged with any form of animal cruelty. That said, the OP did find animal bones in a few of the crosses he built, so it's possible there's some truth to the statement. As for his motive, a journalist who spoke with him reported that he claimed to be, quote, taking out Satanism. Apparently, he believes that these woods are the worshipping grounds for a group of Satanists, making these crosses his way of purifying the landscape. Regardless of his reasoning, it's
Right.
clear that he's mentally unwell and is a danger to the public. There are
Right.
already rumors of him attacking stray animals, and it's not a stretch to imagine him turning his chainsaw on a person if he sees it as a necessary sacrifice to fulfill his goal.
Right.
Thankfully, something of that nature hasn't
Yo,
happened.
bro, I
as
know
of
you feel
yet.
that
He was
breeze
arrested again
between
in
your
late
cheeks,
September,
but
and
I
he was even sentenced
pull
to
them pants up.
240 days in jail.
Pull them pants
But
up.
since he had already spent a long time in confinement in the past couple of years, his sentence was deemed served and he was released. At the time of writing, Rami is still out there and posing a threat to the people around him.
Bro, who does he look like? He looked like somebody. He looked like somebody.
On the 14th of December
I can't put a
2017,
name to the face.
Reddit user She's Such a Riot made a post about a bizarre and unnerving experience they had many years ago.
She
The post
sure-
read, "Humans walking in hamster wheels. When I was about 16, I came home from hanging with friends. I was a huge cartoon fan, still am, grabbed some food and settled into my bed to watch Nickelodeon. I knew it was Nick because it was the last channel I watched that day and no one shared the TV in my room. So I turn it on to see this creepy black, white, and gray scene where hundreds of nude humans are walking in a line over these hills in the background towards these giant hamster wheels in the front of the scene. They're walking towards the wheels as a few people are already in the wheels walking endlessly and mindlessly in this robotic, zombie-like state. The people walking toward the wheels are also in this similar state, as if there's no life within their eyes. They're just cold/robotic. There's this
Right.
cold, wind-like noise whistling in the background.
Right.
It looks real, not animated, and as I watch in awe this dark scene, I come to a similar conclusion and ask myself why Nick would have something so live and non-action, really, as the entire scene keeps just repeating itself of more humans walking towards and in these hamster wheels. I start thinking maybe it's just some weird short and it's kind of cool in a dark sort of way, but minutes go by and it starts to get dull watching this same scene not doing anything else. So I quickly change the channel to something else when
She freaked out. She's 16 and she see a bunch of nude men and women naked in hamster wheels. She got a fetish too. And when them fetishes need to be met, what do? You yank that chain, you play with that beam, you flick that shit. You flick that little shit. What was she doing in that bed? She flicking that little shit. After she had that post-nut clarity, what she do? She changed the channel and she made a Reddit post. Bitch. Chill. We know what you was doing, bro. We know what you was doing. You just said it was naked.
in a split second I realize, wait a minute, what did I just watch? And change it back immediately only to find SpongeBob mid-episode. You could tell SpongeBob was on for a while, not like the weird short played and it just came on. Freaked out, I keep going back to surrounding channels thinking maybe it wasn't Nick, but nothing has the hamster wheel video on. It felt really dark, almost evil when I watched it, and though seemed somewhat interesting at first, it started to feel really wrong after a while. So that, lined with the repetitiveness of it all, made me change it. But now that I realized it wasn't on any channel in the first place, I was really creeped out, and still am to this day. I don't know if this was necessarily a shift in reality or something sinister, paranormal, or really a short, etc., but I have never been able to research and come up with anything about its existence since, including researching that day online in 2005 when it happened. I'd like to believe it was some dumb film project, but I can't find any evidence of it ever existing in reality as we know it. If anybody knows what I saw, I'd love to be debunked.
What?
Still somewhat wary of my TV till this day.
What?
I should mention that this was posted on the Glitch in the Matrix subreddit, a community which gives credibility to theories like shifts and glitches in reality.
Right.
But that said,
Theorists.
if this particular story
Fucking
really did
theorists.
happen, it raises some very concerning real-life possibilities that are worth considering. The idea of randomly coming across something so deeply unsettling on TV, only for it to vanish without a trace, is terrifying on its own. However, what makes this particular case even more disturbing is just how many people remember seeing something
Where
similar
did
in the
it
past.
go?
I'm pretty sure I saw it too. I think I saw part of this. I actually think I remember this. I know I saw it too. Though, if it was real, how exactly did...
Nah, I think I remember too. Back in 2003, the year I was born, yo, I remember my mom had me on the bed and I was just watching the TV with the little antennas coming out the top. And I was like, whoa, SpongeBob's playing right now. Then it just cut. It cut to hamster wheels. And I didn't know what was going on. I think I've seen it. Glitch in the Matrix. r/Glitch in the Matrix. You're not alone. Yeah, right. Like 50 fucking people seen this shit too. Yeah, and all 50 people went to fucking Reddit. Okay.
Did it happen? Some people tried to explain the weird occurrence with a more mundane answer, suggesting that it might have been an ad that was played at the wrong time, with one person writing, "Sounds like a commercial that glitched through the network. It does happen, but it's pretty rare. May have been an ad for an antidepressant or a PSA. Probably wasn't a broadcast intrusion." However, this theory falls apart quickly when you consider that this happened on Nickelodeon, a kids channel. Any ad or PSA featuring seemingly nude
Let's go
people
through a
would
check
have never been
background.
allowed on that channel in the first place.
Background
Another
check.
just as likely theory is that this was the result of a TV hijacking, similar to the infamous Max Headroom incident that happened during a Doctor Who broadcast back in 1987.
Ugh, bro. Yeah.
Kids channels were frequent targets for these signal intrusions. More importantly, many of these hijackers chose to broadcast explicit or unsettling content after gaining access.
Yeah, I don't know
similar to
about
what
that
Wilson
channel.
described in their post. As for why
PBS
there's no
Kids and all
information
that
about this
shit.
hijacking online, a comment from a deleted user shed some light on it, stating, "I'm not sure what happened considering the year, but back in the day, television frequencies often got hacked. It's
We
called
would
a
like to
broadcast
congratulate the
signal
war on
intrusion.
drugs
Max Headroom is often the case most
for
referred
winning
to.
the war on drugs.
However, it is possible in my mind that this was either swept under the rug or not reported, considering it was on a kids channel in a period that was still technically before
And I'm
the
happy as I
popularity
am
of
today.
social media. However, even if we assume
I'm a
it
geek
was a
boy, told
TV
I'm in a box.
hijacking, that still leaves us with a massive unanswered question. What exactly did the OP see on their screen that day? Was it from a movie or a TV show or something else entirely? One user posted a link to Metachaos, an animated horror short film that shares some similarities to what the OP described in their post. Unfortunately, this likely isn't what the
You
OP
see that
saw
nigga
that
giving back shot to
This
nothing?
short doesn't feature anything
Yo.
even remotely close to walking in a line or running on a hamster wheel. Also, it was released in 2010, a full 5 years after the supposed hijacking. A more recent comment suggested something far more plausible, reading, "Okay, I know this is a dead topic, and I don't know if someone already said this before, but do you think it maybe could have been related to anything of those old MacBook Lemmings commercials? I just saw a compilation of a few and it reminded me of this." These ads depicted a group of zombie-like people marching single file up a mountain, blindly following the crowd, how doing so could lead to their doom, and how Apple's upcoming Macintosh can save them from this fate.
On January 23rd, Apple Computer will announce the Macintosh Office. You can look into it, or you can go on with business as usual.
More importantly, these ads were also released way back in 1985, so there's no issue with their timeline. And while they don't perfectly match the original description, like the people are clothed and there are no hamster wheels, that simply could be a case of the OP misremembering details from 12 years ago. They could have also mixed in the memory of what they saw on TV with a similar dream they had the same day. Unfortunately, despite dozens of people looking for the answer, this Reddit thread remains a mystery to this day. The OP's account was also suspended sometime after making this post, so it's unlikely we'll ever get an update.
Because the nigga was a gooner. I'm telling you, like I said. There's on them freaky
In
ass
April
subreddits.
2020, an anonymous user turned to the relationship advice subreddit seeking help with a deeply unsettling situation he found himself in. He wrote,
You gotta keep that
"I think my
NSFW
girlfriend
checked
and her
off,
sister
boy.
are poisoning me. I'm an 18-year-old guy. I moved out of my
Freaky
parents'
ass niggas
house
on
as soon as
Reddit.
I turned 18 because, well, let's just say they and I get on much better if we're not under the same roof. My girlfriend, 19, and her sister, 24, already had a flat together, so I moved in with them, and that's how it's been for the past 9 months. Generally, things are fine. I love my girlfriend, and I like her sister. Our living arrangement / setup is really no different from any other couple living with a flatmate situation, perfectly normal. Now, both of the girls love to cook. Their dad is a Michelin star chef, so food and cooking was always a big part of their lives. I'm fine with this. I'm not a bad cook by any means, but these two are amazing at it. Plus, we have a fair trade. They do all the cooking, I do all the cleaning. I find cleaning very cathartic, so it's usually a sweet deal. I get really bomb meals cooked for me.
As a man? As a man? You're cleaning? How darest you? That is the woman's job. The peasant's job.
In exchange for doing something I enjoy. Things have changed recently. It started about 3 weeks ago when the whole quarantine thing got really ramped up.
It's
I started
sarcasm if you
getting
don't know.
sick.
Oh my god.
At first, I worried I caught the virus, but it just wasn't the virus. No respiratory symptoms, no cold, nothing like that.
They
Just
poisoning
stomach
you, my
cramps and
nigga.
horrible vomiting.
Yeah, they
I figured
poisoning
at
you.
first I'd caught some other bug, but then it came back
GGs.
again and again. At least 1 to 2 times a week for
GGs.
a couple of days at a time. I was getting these episodes of stomach
They put rat poison in your food. They put catnip in your shit. They trying to lace you. It ain't fentanyl. They putting amoxicillin ×6 in your shit.
pain like
Your
you
ass
wouldn't
finna
believe,
die.
and spewing my guts up. I couldn't figure out what was up until I spoke to a friend about it, and
This
she
nigga
asked
finna
if it was
die.
maybe something I'd been eating. Now, I don't have any real food allergies. I'm a bit dodgy with dairy, but not on a feel like I'm on death's door and vomit all the fluids out of my body level. More just bit of discomfort and spend ages on the loo type of stuff. Still, I mentioned it to my
If I get it
girlfriend,
right, you owe
and
me a
she changed
subscribe.
anything about how
You
she
owe me a
was cooking
subscriber
this.
button. Press.
She got really weird,
Press the
defensive
subscriber.
as to what I
Press
was
the
accusing her
subscriber
of.
and come to
I said I
Twitch and
wasn't accusing her of
drop a
anything.
sub.
I just think I might have developed an allergy to
$6.99
something and
a
want to know
month.
what it could be to. She told me I'm just being paranoid and I just have a bug. I dropped it because she seemed really annoyed. Since then, I've noticed some weird stuff, which really is making me paranoid. Like, they shout at me to get out if I go in the kitchen while they're cooking. I've offered to both of them on several occasions, hey, I'll cook tonight, but they vehemently turn me down.
Baby, you need help cooking that spaghetti? No, get out of here, it's okay. Little does he know, sis, I'm on my period. Don't ever eat no spaghetti if your woman cooked it without you being in the kitchen. Life lesson.
And seem almost offended I'd offer. They both keep giving me these glances at meal times, like they're waiting to see how I react. If I say I don't feel good or don't want to eat, both of them take it as a personal attack on their cooking, and if it's my girlfriend, she'll cry until I cave and eat it. There have been times when one or both of them seem to know I was about to get sick after eating. They text each other when they're in the same room if I'm there. I think they think I haven't caught on to that, but it's obvious, honestly. Neither of them is particularly sympathetic when I do get sick. I don't know, maybe I'm being paranoid, maybe quarantine is getting to me.
Nah,
but
bro.
I'm really convinced they're doing something to my food to make me ill. It's the only explanation I can come up with. Thing is, I don't know what to do.
Bruh, are you meal preppers and bodybuilders allergic to seasonings? Yo, put some fucking salt and pepper on that fucking chicken or something at least, my nigga. If you don't want to use no Lowry's, put something on that shit, bro.
If I confront them and I'm wrong, I'm a jerk for even thinking it.
That shit look
If I
dry
confront
shit
them and I'm
and
right, things can
plain.
escalate badly.
School food.
I'd really appreciate any
Prison
advice or
food.
words of wisdom here. Thank you in
Daycare food.
advance. One of the top comments
Retirement
on this
home
post gave me
food.
some solid advice for
Hospital food.
Why
That's what
this
that
only made
is.
the situation
Hospital
seem
food.
even more suspicious. Switch plates with one of them either with or without their knowledge. If they know you want to switch plates, they will refuse, which would be a red flag. Or if you switch without their knowledge, you would be able to see how the plate originally meant for you affects them. They're always super particular about making sure I get the right plate. I hadn't thought about asking to switch. But the thing is, this could have gone either way. As one commenter pointed out, I've seen this before. It was a post on here. A person's husband was a cook and started using some kind of spice. He didn't believe it was making her sick. She got tested and was in fact allergic. He confessed and they reconciled. In another post, a fellow was using garden slugs in his girlfriend's meals on purpose. You need to consider both possibilities. The second half of this comment was referring to a now deleted post from March of 2020. In it,
I'm
the
walking
woman
'em.
seeked advice on what to do after making the horrifying discovery that her partner of 4
Walk.
years was putting garden slugs in her food. In addition to being incredibly gross, this was
Yeah.
also highly dangerous as these slugs can contain brain-eating parasites. Put simply, there was no obvious answer to the OP's predicament. On the one hand, it's entirely possible that the OP was
Ew.
just being paranoid. This could have also been an early sign of a mental health issue, where he's seeing patterns and behaviors that don't actually exist. A few people also suggested a gastrointestinal test to see if there was something wrong with his stomach. This is because conditions like Crohn's disease can cause persistent digestive issues regardless of diet. It could have also been a combination of the two, where his real symptoms were
Why that
making the
toilet
paranoia
water look
worse.
drinkable, bro?
But as this one user mentioned, a
That shit
potential
look
poisoning
crisp.
wasn't entirely off the table. If we assume that the OP's observations are completely accurate, there's a good chance that he was getting poisoned. What makes this even more sinister, however, is that his girlfriend and her sister were disturbingly deliberate.
That's
in
making me
their
feel
actions.
some type of way. I
They
can't look at
mix
that.
his food
Yo,
with a
that's
stronger
nasty.
poison, because then the OP might go to a doctor who would likely find the toxic substance in his system. Instead, they were poisoning him slowly, likely in the hopes of keeping him oblivious until his eventual death. Many people took this possibility seriously, with some even brainstorming ways for the OP to protect himself without jeopardizing his relationship if it all turned out to be a misunderstanding. I don't have a magic bullet answer for you, but I can tell you what to do. I would play dumb, announce that I would be cooking for myself from now on because it would not be fair to force my new, as of yet unidentified allergy on them and their amazing cooking. From there, I would be careful about my food. If I open it, it gets used all the way, nothing left open. All of this would serve twofold. First, if you still get sick every other week while having full control of your own food, you know something bigger is going on here medically, and the paranoia toward them is unjustified. If it works, you might just need to work on getting the hell out. All this being said, the most important part of this is to play dumb and stand your ground, claiming it is all for their happiness and convenience. Unfortunately, we'll never know if he followed the advice from this thread, what ultimately happened, or even if he's still alive. He made this
Nah, I don't think he's still alive, my boy. I think what happened is once they finally caught on that he knows, Middle of the night, they're sleeping together. Oh, baby, I love you so much. Let's do it. Let's pork real quick. They pork. They clean up. You know, he laid that Johnson on her. He goes to sleep after he busts that fat nut. Oh my God. He bust that. He go to sleep after he bust that fat ass nut. She stabbed him in his sleep. Now nobody can ever find him because she cooked him and put him in some pasta galabagoo and they ate him. I think that's all that happened.
Post with an anonymous
That's all that happened.
which was also suspended shortly after this thread's
See?
creation. From what I could find,
He's
there
gone.
haven't been any further updates on this post from any other accounts either. Maybe one day the OP will return with all the answers.
Nope.
But at least until then, we can only hope that he's alive and well.
Nope, he's not alive. W Video Chilling Scares. This deserves a like button. This deserves a like button. And it deserves a clappy. Also, now that the video's over and everybody's gone, if you made it to the last couple seconds of this shit, press the subscribe button. I don't got nothing else to say to you. Thank you for watching, you pleb.